Dak, what was the feeling leaving that locker room last January against those guys?
I mean, it's obvious. I mean, we're so far past that, to be honest with you, but that's obvious. I mean, you just want to piss me off going into this week, and I appreciate that. I do, actually. I do. Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate that.
They are right now probably the most likely team to go in the Super Bowl. But in order for them to get there, they've got to go by us, hopefully 2 times, if that's the way it falls in the playoffs. And we're in the playoffs, of course. But the bottom line is that you're playing the best. This is certainly you don't need the game to tell you that you're playing the best, but you need the game to show you how you stack up against the best.
Well, you recognize both of those voices. You recognize the voices of Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones of the Cowboys. Who are they talking about? Mike Jones? They are talking about the San Francisco 49ers. That's the game. The last time we saw the Cowboys and Niners, the Niners were at a level above the Cowboys. And just an image I'll never be able to get out of my head for the rest of my life is Ezekiel Elliott, former Cowboys running back, playing center. My last play of the game, center. And getting bowled. And getting bowled.
So wrong.
Oh, wow. I mean, come on, Ashley. Ashley, come on now. Come on.
You know, I have no recollection of what you're referring to, Michael.
I do.
I can't recall. Sorry.
I'm going to send it to you. But Mike, you've seen both of these teams so far this season. How do you think this is going to play out? And is it everything that we're making it out to be? It's only early October.
No, it's early October, but it still has huge implications on basically, like Jerry said, it's a good measuring stick for the Cowboys. We know from what we've seen, the 49ers are basically the elite team in the NFC. They and the Eagles are the only 2 teams that are unbeaten in the whole entire league. The 49ers are so deep. They're so talented on both sides of the ball. They're top 10 offense and defense. I think maybe even top 5 on both of those. And so you've got the Eagles, who are a team that are really talented, and the Cowboys are going to see them. So they want to see how they stack up against the 49ers for the future, see how they stack up against them, because they're going to have some tough matchups coming up here. You want to get a win here. You want to show that you are a talented team, that you belong on this level. But the thing is like, man, the Arizona Cardinals showed that the Cowboys are susceptible against the run. You can run the ball on them, even though they're really great as far as getting after quarterbacks. And what do the 49ers do well? Run the football and then run the play action passing attack. And if the Cardinals can rack up yards of plays of 69 and 40-something and 20-something, big plays against the Cowboys, then the 49ers should be able to as well. So it should be a good matchup, but I think that the strengths of the 49ers set them up to be able to do to Dallas similar and maybe even better than what we saw the Cardinals do.
Points were made. Points were made.
Points
Listen,
were made.
I said this, I said it right there, my lower third right here. This is the biggest test Dallas has had to face this season. I think the Arizona game was a fluke on Dallas's part more than it was a fluke on Arizona's part. I think Arizona has good aspects to their game, but I think overall the Cowboys should have won that game. They should be entering this game right now against the 49ers as another unbeaten team. It should be 2 unbeaten teams going at each other. It's not the case because the Dallas Cowboys did not play their game. They did not go ahead and play up to their strong suits. Play calling was a little bit suspect as well. I think the biggest difference going into this 49ers game is that you can't make those same mistakes. You can't make those same mistakes because without a shadow of a doubt, the 49ers will capitalize on them. Going into that Cardinals game, rather, it was hit or miss. You didn't know what kind of Cardinals team you were going to get. Yes, like I said, they have strong suits, but you kind of also play with your food a little bit. This time around, you can't do that. Now, I will say this is going to be the biggest test for the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody wants to go ahead and diminish what the Cowboys have done thus far. The wins, oh, they didn't really win. The defense won this one. This person won that one. This wasn't that good of a team. You beat the 49ers. You go ahead and shut all of that down. This is one of the two last unbeaten teams in the NFL. This is a team that a lot of people have going all of the way. They're prime, they're ready to go. And if you can take them down, you go ahead and shut all that noise down. That the Dallas Cowboys, both offensively, defensively, and special teams, are a team to beat regardless of who is in front of them on the other side of the line. So it's a big game from that standpoint.
Yeah, I don't understand. It is a big game. I don't understand. And they got lucky. That Patriots game, I'm watching that. Unfortunately, I watched the whole game. And late in the game, I think at the point it's 31-3. And you know who's in the game, Mike Jones? Dak Prescott still in the game.
Right.
The Patriots couldn't score 15 points if they were by themselves on a field in Frisco, Texas. They couldn't score 15 points. So they're at that point, they're down by 28. And Dak Prescott still in the game. Micah Parsons, who left the game earlier, comes back in the game and still in there. So I don't understand that. They're fortunate that both of these guys are going to be available to play against the Niners. But I want to ask you, Mike, I don't know if you do any kind of power rankings. Who you got? If you had to really break it down, number one team in the NFC, I'm going with Philly because I'm a little hateful. And I'm just tired of the San Francisco narrative. I hate the story that they tell themselves. So I'm a San Francisco hater. That's what I'm just going to tell you. Put all my cards out there. I'm a San Francisco hater. I got Philly. PFT got the Niners. I got Philly 1. And then Niners probably 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
How about you?
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the Chiefs, the Bills, the boys. Because the Niners haven't played anybody either.
Okay, but when you look at what the Niners have across the board, I mean, they don't show any weaknesses right now. Now, okay, this is a temporary power ranking. It changes week to week. So they're your one? Do I feel like for right now, they are. Do I feel like the Eagles could wind up being that? Yes. I've seen the Eagles the last 3 weeks. The Eagles have a lot. They haven't even put it all together, and they're still racking up 400 yards of offense a game, 200 rushing yards. We haven't seen that passing attack from Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. We haven't seen it just be a well-oiled machine. We've seen them in spurts. They've had some fireworks, but they've been up and down. We also saw their defense last week. Washington was able to run on them. They almost lost that game right there. So because of the inconsistencies and because of Philadelphia struggling in the red zone, I think there's something like 45% in the red zone, where last year they were in the 60s. Because of that, I can't put the Eagles up there at number 1. But when you look at the 49ers, right now, they haven't shown weaknesses. My one question, though, is what happens when they get into a game and Brock Purdy has to throw the football to bring them back into a game? So far, he's only, I think, attempted 30 passes in one game this season. Everything else, they keep him in the 25 range. Yeah. They run the ball. They rely on their defense. But my question is, okay, what happens when they do fall behind, if they do, and you need him to throw you back into a game? I just don't know yet.
Question.
And we haven't been in that situation, so they can't answer it. But for right now, I think that they have the least amount of warts or question marks compared to the inconsistencies of the Eagles, even the inconsistencies that we see with the Kansas City Chiefs. But again, obviously, those are all elite teams there.
The only thing that I dislike about these conversations is that while you guys were talking, I was looking up the Eagles, schedule thus far, and then looking up the 49ers schedule thus far. And in terms of competition and quality of competition, it's not far off for what Dallas has faced, right? Except
That's right.
With the 49ers and
but
with the Eagles.
So can you stop being a fangirl? Dallas lost.
Okay.
So they're not
yes,
up there. Okay.
They lost the Arizona game, but even when they had those first 2 wins, before Arizona even came into the picture, before they were even a game that they were about to lose or lost, whatever, however you want to word it, the narrative was constantly the 49ers look really good. The Eagles look really good. Oh, the Cowboys, they played the Giants, they played the Jets. How is that any different than the first 2 games of the seasons for the other 2 teams that are ranked above us right now in the power rankings? Taking Arizona out of the picture because again, that was a weird game. The goal, I just feel like with the Dallas
Is that a
Cowboys,
blue Cowboys jacket she's got on? We can't tell.
this is time out. This is Tommy Hilfiger. This is not a Dallas Cowboy. It's a coincidence.
It's a collab. It's a collab.
I'm just very confused.
Cowboys collab.
I'm just very confused about the moving goalposts in terms of standard. And then even with the Patriots game last week, right? Everybody wants to focus on, well, these were scored by the defense and this was special teams. Are they not one unit? Are they not one team? Why is it that when the Cowboys go ahead and win a game against a team that is below them in competition, and I say that based on roster, based on expectations, not trying to, ruffle any feathers, but below them in competition, there's all these excuses on why that win doesn't count. But when the Eagles do it, or when the 49ers do it, it's, oh, this is a Super Bowl team. This team is primed to go. This team is right. It's a moving goalpost that I've always had a problem with. And you've seen it more than ever before this season, I feel like, because those schedules are very similar in terms of competition. Very similar.
What do you say, Mike?
I didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
No,
I
you
did
didn't.
give the Cowboys a lot of praise those first 2 weeks because their defense was off to a historic start.
You did,
I think
but
only
not
2
everybody.
other teams had given up only 10 points in 2 games while scoring 70 points. That was great. But when you lose to a team like the Arizona Cardinals, we are going to look at you sideways. Now, I will say they were going against Jonathan Gannon, who used to be the Eagles defensive coordinator. And so he knows Dallas very well and knew, how to go up against them. But still, hey, like you said yourself, that's a game they should have won. And because they did not win, we can't have them up there because we don't know. But I agree with you. Like you said, if they win this week against San Francisco, then okay, you can't put any asterisks, you can't put any qualifiers. It's, hey, Dallas is serious, they're legit, and they belong in the conversation for front runners for the Super Bowl, if they do.
Oh, I can't wait. I really can't wait. And Mike, I think the point you made is an excellent one. I don't hear a lot of people talking about Purdy this way. Like what happens when they get behind? Because look, and I guess you can't invent a problem when there are no problems. Brock Purdy has had a great start to his career. The only thing that really sidelined him was an injury. I mean, everything worked out well. He had remember the start of his career, it just so happened he didn't play any games outside of the Pacific time zone. His first game outside of the Pacific was like late in the year. And then, he got hurt in Philadelphia, so we really don't know. I'd say the only thing, Mike, is Purdy gets the benefit that Dak doesn't. So if you had Dak for Purdy, how many games has he played? 10 in his career? 11?
Yeah, as far as the regular season, yeah.
Okay, so he's not even played 17 games in his entire career. If you take a quarterback and you just condense it and say this quarterback is this based on 11 or 12 games, you've got an incomplete sample size. And so I feel like a lot of people think if you ask most NFL fans, they say who you got, Purdy or Dak, they'd say Purdy, and I'd say incomplete. I don't know. I don't think it's a fair question because I still don't know. I'm not hating in this case. I'm a hater in general for San Francisco, but in this case, I'm not hating. I'm just saying it's the sample size is too small to make that argument. What do you think?
No, I agree with you. Again, we have to see him, when he gets punched in the mouth, then what does he do? We've seen Dak Prescott. We've seen him come up short. We've seen him have big times. We've seen him make a lot of plays. We've seen him throw a lot of interceptions. So we know everything he is. We don't know a lot about Brock Purdy. And, when I was asking people coming into the season, talent evaluators from other teams, they said, dude, there's a lot of plays that he left out there on the field last year that they, could have had, more out of him, even though that they were able to win games, and they were able to win those games despite those plays that he left on the field because they have a strong run game, because they have a dynamic defense. And look, they don't need him to be Superman. They're not asking him to. They're just asking him to run the system. He's not doing anything, putting on a cape or anything. He's distributing the ball. He's hitting the spots that he needs to. He's running the play action boot and letting the defense give him short field position and extra possessions and things like that. That is what they want from him, and he's doing it perfectly. But again, until I see him come from behind and win a shootout with Patrick Mahomes or even Jalen Hurts or somebody, if I see him win a shootout, then I'll be like, oh, yeah, this guy. But right now I'm like, oh, he's good for what Kyle Shanahan wants to do. But I'm not crowning him anything.
Yeah, I think I agree with both of you on that. I think, this talk of, oh, he's the new franchise guy. He's the guy of the future for the 49ers. I think that everybody fails to recognize or remember, or selectively remember, I guess. The 49ers are known for this plug and play situation with their quarterback. You can put basically anybody who's capable of throwing a football and who has some sort of experience as an NFL quarterback into this system, and they will garner some level of success. That is the way that this system is designed. You saw it with Jimmy Garoppolo. Is Jimmy Garoppolo Tom Brady? No, but in certain games, it looked like he was, just because this is what the team does. This is how they function. If Trey Lance, ever got a full opportunity to go ahead and play in this offense, you'd probably see similar results. So I don't think that Brock Purdy is anything extraordinary. I think that he's good. I think that he's decent. Is he the second coming of Joe Montana? No, I just think that the system that he is in requires just enough from him, but not too much that you put him in a situation where he's going to screw the team out of a win. And I think those are two very different things.
All right. Well, Mike Jones, always good to check in with you, brother, and hear from you. I can't wait until we talk about San Francisco and Dallas.
The Cowboys beating San Francisco.
Ashley, I hope you're around now. I hope you're around.
Listen. For that show, I'm wearing a Dak Prescott jersey. Just know that.
Right,
even if they lose, you better wear it if they lose too.
For sure. I have no shame.
Okay. For sure. All right, there it is. It's right there. We got it on the record. Accountability. Ashley Nicole Moss says, for sure. End quote.
I have no feelings. I've been a Cowboys fan my whole life.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.